And I just want us to take a look at the cartoon edition. Dan, you are in possession of the Daily Nation. And this is a depiction of what's happening. Let me just put this up for our viewers, because we had a problem this early morning because of our soft that copy of the Daily Nation. So we're going to be fixing that problem. But equally, it's a depiction of what has been happening in the ruling Jubilee Party. It's a case of just making it clear. This is the Deputy President, William Ruto, staring perhaps at this coach that involves Rafael Tuju, the party section, President Uhuru Kenyatta sandwiched, and this is Raila Odinga. Now, this hand perhaps that connects Tuju and Odinga is the showcase of the political bromance between the two. Tuju saying that he will do all he can to ensure that he does protect the handshake. For that is perhaps the channel towards the tendency of political sanity in the country and ended months of political uncertainty, according to him, following the divisions in the 2017 elections and the repeat poll on the 26th of October 2017. Dan, I'll come to you because I have a lot of reservations about that. Of course, the DP tweeted saying that ni maajabu, to just paraphrase what he said, to see the section of the ruling party now being strategic planner of the opposition. But Frank Anyona, yes, unpacking that for us and looking at the deeper problems of the ruling Jubilee party, say the Jubilee jam, yeah, and it equally perhaps point, isn't it, to what political hypocrisy has done to Kenya, is doing to Kenya, and what will the Jubilee jam perhaps pointing to a complete disintegration do to Kenyans?
Yes, Ayub, you realize the moment you introduced this topic, every one of us was
excited?
Laughing, yeah, because as for me, and very many people will not agree with me, William Ruto is an overrated politician who is in his position because of maybe fate or it was destined to be. But he's not somebody who really makes brilliant calculations as people think. Because when he tweeted that text, I saw it, not unless he's attacking the president or he doesn't know what he's doing. Because he's saying that Tuju is today the chief strategist of Raila Odinga. But I'll tell you who is the chief strategist of Raila Odinga today. It's Uhuru Kenyatta. If William Ruto needs to ask anybody for the association with Raila Odinga, then he should question Uhuru Kenyatta. Why are you questioning a secretary general of a party for associating with the opposition leader when the party leader himself for Jubilee is always with the Raila Odinga? So you realize that if it's not political hypocrisy, then it means that this person doesn't know what he's doing, and it's time he should give Tuju a break. Tuju is following the example of the master. The boss of Tuju in Jubilee is Uhuru Kenyatta. So
in other words, we are going by the sentiment of Moses Kuria, the member of parliament for Gatundu South constituency, saying that, please, Mr. DP, don't attack the messenger.
Yes, because
the message is from someone else.
Yes, yes. You know, like, it's I don't know what example like a news, but it's like when he's a bit strong and he has attacked me. You know, I'll look for something different. I'll even say that it's maybe his brother or something. I mean, I'm trying to escape from him because he's stronger. Mm-hmm. The deputy president should attack the president for associating with Raila Odinga.
All right.
Not Tuju at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning that what we are saying literally is that he's beating around the bush. This need for him to perhaps directly involve the president. But yes, Frank Obwanda, Frederick Obwanda, you look at today's development and today's theater of political establishment in the country, and you equally feel yucky because it all points to perhaps to the sense of protracted perennial political cycle that's unending. The substantial gains are not, of course, of importance to Kenyans, and we are on a scale politically unseen before in this country when you look at today's development. Does the political leadership in the country, Jubilee Party, the NASA coalition, on paper it does exist, dead politically, do they need to share the very deep sense of guilt for letting down Kenyans since 1991?
I think with our nature of politics is that we always come up with a vehicle towards the elections. And then after the elections, now we figure out what next vehicle we're taking to approach the next election. So in a sense, yes, political parties have not done what we expect them as Kenyans. Political parties are supposed to be permanent institutions, you know. That's why even upon passing the Constitution 2010, we even decided to allocate money to support their function. So because there are institutions per se that's supposed to be supersede, that's supposed to be here for a very long time. Now, coming back to what we were looking at currently is our politics is not a very. Our politics is dirty in that there's no honesty in it. No one stands for anything. Tomorrow you can be saying this, then tomorrow you're seen doing something totally different. So whatever Tuju is doing with, there is no evidence that shows that yes, he's actually or brainstorming or think tanking for the Orange Democratic Party. It's all on the papers for now. But then at the same time, usually where there is smoke, there is fire, isn't it? And my thinking is, can we move to a direction where politics is actually politics, where if you are in a political party, stay there, push the agenda of that political party. And if you feel that the political party that you represent at that particular time do not represent what you believe in, kindly resign and move to another party officially, and push for their manifesto or their ideas or whatever it is that they stand for at that particular time. But at least be honest about it. We as a country right now are seeing situations where we are teaching our children bad manners, you know, completely bad manners. You say something today, tomorrow you wake up, you say another thing, the next day you are totally in a different particular camp, you know, and it all started with the president and his deputy. 10 years today, until 10 years, when I'm done, 10 years. Now we are in a position where even the president himself is giving us mixed signals, isn't it?
Yes.
So those are some of the things that I'm saying. We need to move from bad manners. We need to be people who actually say and believe what we say and do out there.
All right.
Because we're teaching the general population and even our children who are actually coming over to take over the leadership of this country that you can do whatever you want and say whatever you want, however dirty it is, or however much you don't mean it, you know, and we reward you with the positions, isn't it? Okay. And that is something that I don't agree with completely. Okay, let's be honest.
Basically about the politics of policies and institutionalization of that in the mainstream politics of the country. But then taking stock of that, and one thing that is very clear and is an acknowledged fact is or established is that the parties. A relation or members of the party's relationship was frictionless between 2013 and 17 because they are a common factor which glued them together, and that was Raila Odinga, of course. Now with Raila on board, a faction feels they are threatened or their political interests threatened, they feel uncertain. And at some point in Bomet in 2018, they even pushed the president to the wall to declare support for the DP William Ruto. Can this further lead the party to a point of complete fracture and put the already existing doubts into deeper mode, and perhaps again perennially continue the sense of political hypocrisy in this country where parties fail and come up with another entity in 2022 or the next elections and further continue the detriment upon the Kenyan public?
Well, the glue that still sticks Jubilee is the fact that the president has not come out and disowned that he will not support his deputy. He hasn't said that in public.
But he said that during elections.
He said he will not. You know, he has not said that. Indeed, he said that he will go for 10 years, the second term. And he's not disowned the fact that he said his deputy will inherit him. He's not come out in the
He said his choice will shock many.
Yeah, but he's not saying his choice would. So that is what sticks. The other thing that sticks Jubilee together is shared corruption between 2013 to 2017 and common interest. So it's quite difficult to anybody to point a finger. When you point a finger and say, you know, Aror and Kimwarer, the other person will say, you know, the JKIA issue, and the issue died. So this is what is uniting, you know, Jubilee. It's horse trading and finger pointing, and the fact that issues were shared together and nobody can point, you know, like no honor within the theme.
Meaning that there is a faction that can be accused of the Aror Kimore dams, and there is another faction that can be accused.
That is what I mean. That is why.
Well, clearly you are acknowledging that the government of the day is corrupt.
Very corrupt. And this is something that we cannot hide away from Kenyans who are watching us, that we are seeing Jubilee government presiding over corruption with unprecedented, the one that we've never seen in history. By the time of Moi and Kibaki regimes, it was more of millions. We are not justifying it was not much. But this one is now taking a toll. Billions and billions that are shifted and corrupted. Now, coming back to this issue, Deputy President William Ruto is a Kenyan and has got a right of expression, like is envisioned in the Constitution. By the fact that he is also shocked, you know, that Secretary General of a ruling party can have a bromance with, you know, the leader of opposition. It's quite interesting times in political history. But then I want to remind our viewers that we are living at a very interesting time. You know, the times when Governor Mike Sonko can ask Governor Anne Waiguru to deliver at 52 years age. You know, it's at Mbagathi or anywhere in the hospital. At times where, you know, Deputy President can bring in Aisha Juma as one of the strategies to mobilize votes in Mombasa region. And you see, when Raila Odinga is reaching out to Tuju, it becomes an issue. So we have very interesting times in history. But then, my issue is this, that I still feel the Jubilee has given us a lot of factions. You know, the rise of Tanga, the rise of, you know, Team Wanjiku, the rise of the rise of Inua Dada and Embrace.
And today there's going to be a press about the youth embrace in Kenya.
Now you see,
we literally have 6.
Yeah, we see there's a lot of factions that Jubilee has given us, which of course I'm looking at this and wondering if this party is still in existence, because one factor that we really need to reckon with is the fact that the confusion about the inheritance of Mount Kenya region. And we do not have a candidate for Mount Kenya. President Kenyatta said, I'm not seeking the second term. So throwing at all on the contribution for, you know, the succession politics in Mount Kenya is complicating the fact in Jubilee inheritance in question. Also the fact that, you know, the cases that are there in ICC are no longer the cases that are now gluing these guys together. And Raila Odinga has not declared his presidency. William Ruto has declared that he's going for a president. Opinion polls have put it so clear that the best candidate right now to beat is none other than Deputy President William Ruto. So, you know, when we are thinking that, you know, Ruto is this or that, I need to say that he's been confident and he's thrown, you know, his nets, he's casting political nets in the sea. So it's upon the other candidates to come on and declare their interest in this position. But then he has a right of expression as well.
Asanteni sana. I'm happy because of time. Briefly, 30 seconds because of time.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind my colleague, not actually to remind, but to add that the same William Ruto took Ababu Namwamba, who was the Secretary General of ODM. And Ababu Namwamba for a very long time was operating in ODM but being loyal to Ruto. So it's not, it shouldn't be surprised.
And the Labour Party.
Yeah.